Now with Matthew Bryza. He's a senior fellow with the Atlantic Council. Thanks so much for being with us again, Matthew. You know, we've spoken at length about so many global issues that are affected by this election, affected by whatever happens in the United States. One issue we haven't really gotten to is Russia. Trump has a very complicated relationship with Russia, and especially with President Putin. Sometimes he's his biggest fan, and then other times we see this kind of villainization. Not sure how it works, but what do you think Russia wants out of this election, and why?
Well, I think probably President Putin at least wants Trump to win, because President Putin realizes what you just said, that, you know, Trump wants to have a positive relationship with Putin. Why that is unclear. Is it because President Trump likes or admires strong leaders? Maybe. Is it because he knows that his business dealings in Moscow and his personal visits there have created some compromising material on him? Could be. Might it be that President Trump is like every U.S. president, at least in my adult lifetime, that each one comes in and they think they're going to create the great breakthrough with the Russian leader? I mean, it happened even when I was working for President Bush in the White House. You know, he really hoped, President George W. Bush, he really hoped that he was going to be the special communicator with President Putin and could create a new relationship. So I think Trump is going to want to continue finding ways to have common ground with Russia, but he's going to face a lot of opposition if he were to win, if his second term were to happen.
Right. George W. Bush, yeah, he saw into his soul. I remember that.
Yes.
So touching. But I mean, what about Biden? Are they even giving any pretense that they care at all about trying to build some kind of solid relationship with Putin?
I don't think so. We need to remember that then Vice President Biden was President Obama's point person on Ukraine, meaning after Russia invaded Ukraine and annexed Crimea. And it was Vice President Biden who really drove the process to implement pretty tough sanctions on Russia because of that, and then led the effort to coordinate with our European allies to have them have the same sanctions. So I think that if it will be a President Biden, and having been his host in Moscow when he was a senator and I worked in the embassy, I know that he has a strongly strategic view about Russia, about NATO, and about the need to resist Russian aggression or aggressiveness. Now, but I also think that Russians respect that. And at the end of the day, it may be that a tough President Biden would actually get to a more constructive relationship with Russia.
Okay. Then tell us how all this would feed into the NATO alliance. I mean, it was something Trump called obsolete, kind of seems to have backtracked maybe a little on that stance. But what does NATO want out of this?
I would guess that NATO as an organization would like to see a Biden victory because of exactly what you just said, Andrea, that President Trump in his first visit to NATO's brand new headquarters, which was staged to be right in front of the memorial to September 11th, which is the only time in history that NATO invoked what's called Article 5. That's the collective defense provision that says an attack on any NATO member is an attack on everybody. It had always been assumed that it would always be the United States coming to the aid of some other NATO member if the Soviet Union or Russia attacked them. No, in this case, that was invoked in response to the September 11th attacks on New York and Washington, D.C. So the fact that President Trump was standing right in front of that memorial with NATO saying, Mr. President, please say you value us because we came to your support. And he didn't. He instead said that NATO may be obsolete and that the other NATO member states need to pay a lot more money for our collective defense. That really rattled a lot of NATO members.
Right.
That said, to be fair, he did convince several other NATO members to invest more in NATO's collective defense. So that part's good. But overall, I think the NATO alliance would like to see a strongly pro-NATO president, and Joe Biden is that.
Matthew Bryza, always great to speak to you. Thanks so much again for being with us. We appreciate it.